Hello, hello. Welcome to another video here on my YouTube channel. Today we're answering a question that I got on Instagram. This question reads, I have such a hard time planning. Can you make a video sharing exactly how to plan and how I can make this work? So let's talk a little bit about that in this video. Thank you again so much for joining me today. I love talking about planning, so this is going to be a fun one. But before we begin, please go check out our ebooks. We have 28 ebooks. We have the brand new sushi ebook, the hand salads wrap ebook, burger book, soup book. If you're looking to add more raw food to your life, check them out. There's so many delicious recipes. We now have over 1,000 recipes across all of our ebooks. There's, again, 28 of them, and they're all 40% off with code RAWFOOD40. Just use that code at checkout and enjoy that. The question today is, I have such a hard time planning. Can you make a video sharing exactly how to plan and how I can make this work? So let's talk a little bit about that. So the first thing about planning is writing it down. We can think of things that we want to do. We can think, oh yeah, I want to go to bed early, or I want to eat raw food tomorrow. Some of that is a little bit too vague. Yeah, you want to eat raw food tomorrow, but what are you going to eat? When are you going to eat it? What are you going to do to make it happen? These are all things that have to be considered in your planning as well. So I would recommend the first thing that you want to do is grab a pad of paper and a pencil, old school. I wouldn't recommend using the phone because writing it down is a lot more powerful than just typing it. So grab that pad and the pen and write down what you want to have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Be very specific with what you want. Write down the name of the recipe. You could even write down what's in the recipe. The more detailed you get, the easier it'll be tomorrow when you have to make those meals because you know exactly what to do. I love the quote that I learned from Ted Carr. We're friends with Ted Carr, and he talks about, building online businesses and stuff like that. And one of the quotes that I love is go to bed like a boss and wake up like an employee. So what this means is you go to bed with a plan for the day. Do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. This is like you're in control. This is what needs to get done. Then you wake up like an employee and you just follow the list. You do absolutely everything that you have on the list. And that is a fun way of looking at it. So you're going to go to bed like a boss. You're going to plan your day. You're going to write down what you're planning to have for breakfast, what you're planning to have for lunch, what you're planning to have for dinner, and what you have on hand for snacks. And I suggest fruit as a snack. So whether that be a couple cups of grapes or some bananas or berries or whatever it is, write down what you have on hand that you can reach for if you're feeling snacky in between meals. So write that down. That is the number one thing to do. So if you want, actually, let's do this activity. If you want, pause the video right now and write down what you plan to have tomorrow for breakfast, lunch, and dinner that are raw, that are aligned with your goals. So do it now. All right, now that you have written everything down, next up is scheduling yourself in. How are you going to make that plan a reality? Because it's one thing to plan. We can have all of these kinds of plans, but unless we schedule it into our day so that we can actually take action on it, most plans don't get done. We need to have a time and place of where we're going to get things done. Do you need to get any ingredients to make this day happen? What do you need to have on hand? Or anything like that you want to include as well. So maybe you have to go shopping or maybe you need to do a swap of something. Plan that all out. And then schedule yourself in. When are you going to make your smoothie? What time? Write it down. What time are you going to make your lunch? Are you going to make it before work? Are you going to make it, if you work from home, are you going to make it before lunch? Or what does that look like? Does it look like making it the night before, right after you write this list? If that's the case, then write that down. Write down the time that you are going to commit to yourself to make the lunch. Then do the same for dinner. When are you going to make dinner? Are you going to make it in the morning before you go to work? Are you going to prep some of the stuff tonight before, or are you going to just make dinner at dinner time? What are you going to do? What is going to be your plan? And it's going to be different for everybody. Some people might prefer to do a lot of the food prep the night before. Some people, like myself and Nate, we like to do our food prep for the day first thing in the morning. That really saves a lot because we like to get up early, and we have a lot of energy, we're fresh, and we like to make everything in the morning. But it's totally up to you. Whatever your day looks like, fit yourself into your schedule and show up. Show up to yourself. If you need to, the next step would be to set alarms in your phone so that you are made aware of these appointments, so to speak. You have an appointment with yourself in the kitchen to make these things for your future self. Think about your future self, because your future self is going to be very happy that you took the time to do the things, even though you may not want to at the moment, but you're going to be really grateful that you did. So again, plan, write down everything you're going to have, schedule it in, and write down the times, and then set some alarms. The next thing that I would suggest, once you have all of that down, take 2 minutes. It does not have to be long. The longer you do it, the more effective I think it is, but you don't need to spend a lot of time on this. You don't have to spend 20 minutes doing it. Maybe it's while you're falling asleep. Visualize yourself making the food. Visualize yourself eating the food. Visualize yourself and feel the emotions that you're going to feel about yourself when you prepare your own food and when you're eating it and feeling hydrated and happy and on track and accomplished and empowered. Visualize it. Get into your mind and create a movie and go through every step of the process. And again, I say this to do it before going to sleep because you're laying there and you're trying to sleep. Sometimes just thinking about that, and you'll just fall asleep that way. But it's really great to visualize yourself doing the thing, because then you're more familiar with the action of it and you're more likely to get it done because you've thought through it. And this is really important if you have a new recipe that you are going to be making as part of your plan. Say you want to make a new recipe from one of my ebooks for lunch or dinner or whatever. Read through the recipe. This is like a side option to do for the visualization. Read through the recipe and read through the instructions and imagine yourself doing it. Imagine yourself chopping the vegetables. How are they going to look in the salad bowl? Imagine yourself putting the tray into the dehydrator if there's dehydrated stuff. Imagine yourself blending the dressing. Imagine those things, and you'll feel a little bit more confident when you do actually create the recipe because you'll have gone over it in your mind. And we know how powerful our minds are, so you might as well use it to your advantage. Then you're just going to wake up the next day, follow your list. When your alarm goes off, show up for yourself, make the stuff, and enjoy the food. You want to be consistent with this. The more you practice this, the easier it's going to get, and the better you're going to get at it, the faster it's going to take you to prep stuff. Remember, we get good at what we practice. So if you want to get good at planning, then practice planning. On a side note, I'd also suggest, if this feels a little bit too overwhelming for you and you don't want to do a full raw day, or if you're not ready yet, or if you're just starting, maybe you're coming from a really low fiber diet, then I would suggest, instead of planning your whole day raw, plan at least one meal raw. So still write down what you're going to have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, one of the meals being raw. Then you can just focus on that one meal and get really good at that one meal. Say it's dinner, you get really good at doing a raw dinner. Then you can move on to doing dinner and lunch. And then you get really good at doing dinner and lunch, and then you can do breakfast, or you could swap them, whatever works best for you, whichever meal you want to start with. Some people find breakfast smoothies really easy to start with. So maybe start with breakfast, but write it down. Even if your day isn't all raw, just write down what you plan to have and add more raw into it. So if you're already having something cooked or what have you, and your goal is to go raw, start adding a little bit of raw to the cooked meal. So, for example, if you're having a soup for lunch, have half the soup and a salad, because the cooked soup you can warm up the next day and do it again, right? So there's that. Adding more raw food to your cooked meals will help you transition over to enjoying even more raw food or going all raw if that is something that aligns with your goals. So those would be my tips for planning. I hope this answered the question and gave a little bit more clarity on how you can do it. This is how we do it. Again, there's so many different ways that you could plan, but this is how we do it. And this is what really worked for us when we were starting out. Go slow, be patient with yourself, be consistent. Remember, repetition is the key. So keep going and know that you are doing something loving for yourself. Show up for yourself. You deserve it, and you're worthy of showing up for you. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. If you liked videos like this, please click like and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and check out our raw vegan recipe ebooks. Everything is 40% off with code RAWFOOD40. Link is in the description box below. It's payhip.com/rawfoodromance. We have 28 ebooks there now, including our brand new sushi ebook, the cracker ebook, smoothies, Make It Raw 4. We have 4 volumes with Chef AJ now, working on the 5th. So yeah, there's so many different recipes in there, something for everybody. So hopefully something aligns with you and interests you, but head on down there and check everything out. And we will see you next time for another video. Thank you for joining me and I love you. Fruit on.